Welcome back to War Machines Chronicles. Today we're diving deep into the story of an aircraft that didn't just change the game. It completely rewrote the rules of air combat in World War II. This is the story of the P-51 Mustang, the legendary fighter that became the ultimate symbol of American air power and the bane of the Luftwaffe. In the early days of World War II, the Allies faced a terrifying problem. Their heavy bombers, like the B-17 Flying Fortress, were flying deep into enemy territory to strike at the heart of the Third Reich. But they were vulnerable. German fighters, swift and deadly, would tear through their formations, inflicting horrific losses. The bombers' own machine guns could only do so much. What they desperately needed was a protector, a guardian angel that could fly with them all the way to their targets and back. The problem was, no Allied fighter had the range to do it. The Spitfire, the P-47 Thunderbolt, the P-38 Lightning, all were fantastic aircraft. But they would run out of fuel long before reaching deep targets like Berlin. This dilemma was threatening to cripple the entire strategic bombing campaign. The losses were becoming unsustainable. Without a solution, the Allies might lose the air war over Europe. It was in this desperate moment that the stage was set for the arrival of a legend. The story of the Mustang begins, surprisingly, not with an American request, but a British one. In 1940, the British Royal Air Force was urgently seeking more fighters. They approached North American Aviation, an American company, asking them to build P-40 Warhawks under license. But the designers at North American had a better idea. They promised they could design and build a brand new, superior fighter in just 120 days. It was an incredibly bold claim, but they delivered. The prototype, known as the NA-73X, took to the skies in October 1940. Early versions of the Mustang, equipped with an Allison engine, were good at low altitudes but struggled higher up, where the real air battles over Germany were happening. They performed well in reconnaissance and ground attack roles, but they weren't yet the high-altitude escort fighter the Allies needed. The plane had a revolutionary design, particularly its laminar flow wing, which created less drag and allowed for incredible speed and fuel efficiency. The airframe was a masterpiece, but it was like a world-class athlete with the wrong set of lungs. It was missing the one thing that would unlock its true potential, the right engine. The magic happened when British engineers at Rolls-Royce had the brilliant idea to fit their legendary Merlin engine into the Mustang's airframe. The Merlin was the same powerhouse engine that gave the Spitfire its incredible performance at high altitudes. The combination was a match made in aviation heaven. North American Aviation then began mass-producing the Merlin under license in the United States, built by the Packard Motor Car Company. This new engine was called the Packard V1650 Merlin. With the Packard Merlin roaring under the hood, the P-51B and C models were born. Suddenly, the aircraft was transformed. It could climb faster, fly higher, and maintain its incredible speed of over 700 kilometers per hour, where it mattered most, above 20,000 feet. The P-51 Mustang had finally arrived. Now, it just needed to prove itself in combat. The definitive version of the Mustang, and the one we all picture, was the P-51D. This model introduced two key improvements. First, its armament was standardized to 6 wing-mounted 50-caliber Browning machine guns, a devastating amount of firepower that could shred an enemy fighter in a single burst. Second, and perhaps most iconically, it featured a new bubble canopy. This teardrop-shaped piece of plexiglass gave the pilot an unobstructed 360-degree view around the aircraft. In a dogfight, seeing the enemy first is everything, and the bubble canopy gave Mustang pilots a crucial advantage. But the Mustang's most significant contribution was its incredible range. Equipped with external drop tanks, the P-51 could carry enough fuel to fly from bases in England all the way to Berlin and beyond, stay and fight for a while, and then fly all the way back. This was the game changer. For the first time, American B-17 and B-24 bomber crews looked out their windows on long-range missions and saw the sleek, silver shapes of the Mustangs flying alongside them. Morale soared. They called them their little friends. The arrival of the long-range Mustang in late 1943 spelled doom for the German Luftwaffe. The German strategy had been to wait for the Allied escort fighters to turn back, and then pounce on the defenseless bombers. Now, There was no safe space. The Mustangs were everywhere. The new commander of the U.S. 8th Air Force, General Jimmy Doolittle, unleashed the fighters. His famous order was simple. The fighters were no longer tied to close escort. Their primary mission was now to hunt and destroy the Luftwaffe wherever they could find it. What followed was a brutal war of attrition in the skies over Germany. Mustang pilots, aggressive and well-trained, took the fight directly to the enemy. They engaged German Messerschmitt 109s and Focke-Wulf 190s on their own terms. The combination of speed, firepower, and the pilots' superior situational awareness from the bubble canopy was lethal. The Luftwaffe was forced into a fight it could not win. They were losing experienced pilots and aircraft at an alarming rate, a rate their industry could not sustain. By D-Day in June 1944, the Mustang had helped achieve total air superiority over the battlefields of France. The German Air Force was a shadow of its former self, unable to effectively challenge the Allied invasion. The P-51s roamed the skies, not only protecting bombers but also strafing ground targets, trains, convoys, and enemy airfields, causing chaos in the German rear. The Mustang wasn't just a force in Europe, it also served with distinction in the Pacific theater. Flying from newly captured islands like Iwo Jima, P-51s escorted B-29 superfortresses on their grueling long-range bombing raids against the Japanese mainland. Just as they had done in Europe, they protected the giant bombers and cleared the skies of Japanese fighters, ensuring the bombing campaign could proceed. Pilots loved the Mustang. It was fast, agile, and forgiving to fly. It was an honest aircraft that could take a lot of punishment and still bring its pilot home. Many of the top American aces of the war, like George Preddy, Don Blakesley. When the war ended, the P-51 Mustang had compiled an incredible combat record. It's credited with destroying nearly 5,000 enemy aircraft in the air, more than any other Allied fighter in Europe. But its true importance goes beyond numbers. The P-51 Mustang was the key that unlocked the full potential of the Allied strategic bombing campaign. It broke the back of the Luftwaffe, ensuring Allied control of the skies and paving the way for victory in Europe. It wasn't just a great fighter, it was arguably the single most important and decisive aircraft of the entire war. From a bold proposal to a war-winning weapon, the P-51 Mustang earned its place in history as the ultimate escort fighter. Its sleek lines, the roar of its Merlin engine, and the silver glint of its wings became a symbol of hope for bomber crews and a sign of impending doom for its enemies. It truly was the Cadillac of the skies. Thanks for joining us on War Machines Chronicles to explore the incredible history of the P-51 Mustang. What legendary machine should we cover next? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a journey into the history of warfare. We'll see you next time.